everybody, welcome back to Crafted by Norma. This is my next in my little mini series. Before you would have seen me do one of my mini tags for my journal that I'm making at the moment, my steampunk journal, and I made these little mini cluster tags. So the next is going to be one of the styles of mini books that I do to put inside my journals. So I've just done two styles. One, I've used a closure which is just stapling the very centre of the little booklets, or the second style is where you can actually just punch two little holes, and I've put some string and a slip knot and then made a little mini tag to go in the book. But they're quite easy to do, quite straightforward to do. So let's begin. So first off, what we're going to use is some envelopes. Now I bought a large pack of envelopes which were advertised in the shop as ATC envelopes because they fit an ATC. And the size of those envelopes are, where are we now? 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. So they're the little mini envelopes to make the little mini books. Now you would have seen me in a previous video how I make my envelope journals. So it's exactly the same sort of principle, but just the style of the build of the booklets is slightly different. So with these ones we've got the little sticky label at the top there. And what we're going to do with these ones to make it just slightly different to the other style is this is going to slot into there like so, and that just slots into there quite easily. And then we're just going to run a little bit of glue just underneath, just to keep it all, just underneath there. Just, it's a bit curly, there we go. Like that, and we're just going to wipe it down. Got rid of all the excess glue, and then that should fold over quite neatly like so. And what you want to do is just to make sure that it all lines up in the corners before you just glue the other edge along like so. I'm going to turn it over. There we go. Just wipe away any excess glue. I'm checking that it actually folds nice and neat there. And then just to highlight those folds, we're just going to run it down with a bone folder. So there you've got the start of your little book. Okay. So next we're going to just cover it with some paper. Now I went to our local store in the UK, which is called The Works, and they sell these little paper pads, and they're just 15 by 15 centimetres, and there's 24 sheets, and they are £2, and I think they're well good value. They have different themes. This one is the worldwide map, so the first couple of sheets have got maps in, and there's a range of papers, and the papers are quite good because they're 200 in weight, so they're quite a stiff little card. And for those, what you're going to want is to cut these down now to fit into the page. Now because the envelopes are 3 by 3/4 and 2 by 3/4, I've cut my papers down to 3.5 by 2.5. So I've got 4 of those papers. I've got 2 for the front and 2 for the insides. And I've just added some small little stamps because mine is going to go into a steampunk journal. I've just put some images that go along with the steampunk theme. So all we're going to want to do is, before we stick them on, we're going to go around the edges with some distress inks. So on this one I'm using, it's Ground Express, so it's quite a darker colour. And as you see, I use a sponge that's really designed for makeup. So they come in various sizes. That's the little small egg size, which is quite handy to have. And I'm just going to go around the edge. And for this particular project, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how rough you go into the middle, because you're only going to see the edge of the paper. So it's just really just to distress the edge of your book, both inside and out. So there we go. And then we're going to do the same with the papers. We're just going to distress around the edges so we don't see that white of the card around the edges. So that's going to be my, I don't know whether to make that the front or the back. I think I'll make this one the back and the other one the front. Okay, so just do those 4 little pages like so. But I think the pads from the works are really good value. And they have different designs. They have floral ones, vintage ones. This one's obviously a travel one. Right, okay, so we've now got the outside of our book, and this is going to be the front cover. So I'm going to make this one my front cover. So we're just going to run a little bit of glue just along the edges, like so. A little bit in the middle. Now what I like to do is just use my finger so the glue goes to the whole of the edge of the paper, just like so. And then plonk it down. Now I've pre-stamped my images. Let me just grab my cloth. Onto my papers. And of course you can embellish the outside of your book as much as you like, but just for this project I'm just sticking to the stamps. So again, just run down the edges like so. Oops, your gluey finger, everything's sticking to. There we go. Just like so. And that just makes sure that the paper actually glues, or the card glues, all the way around. There we go. Like so. So that's the outside of the book complete. And then we're going to do exactly the same. Gets a bit boring, doesn't it? Exactly the same. Now this piece of card, in actual fact, has got a little pre-stamped image on there, so just leaving that as it is. There we go. There we go. Stick that on there. And the same with that one. I do love that little print stamp of a penny farthing. Ooh, there we go. So just go to the edge. Right, and then we've got the base of the little mini book basically done. So just looking at it now, whether or not it just needs, I think I'll just put a little bit more distressing just around it. There we go. And around the side there as well. Just sort of finishes it off. So we've got the outside of our little book completed. So the next we want to do is we're going to put our pages in. Now the pages are just going to be slightly less than the book itself, as you can see there, the edge. So on that one they're all equidistant, they're all the same size. On this little book here, I've added pages that vary in size, just to make it just slightly different. And then on this one, I've even got the paper where it actually will extend outside to have more journaling pages. So it's entirely up to you how you put your pages in and what pages you put in. but just for this demonstration I've just pre-cut, and I've pre-cut to 5 inches by 3.5 inches. And these are all coffee stained papers. These are dipped coffee stained papers, because as some of you might know, that I also spray my coffee stained papers as well as dip them. So they just slot in there, and that becomes your little book. Now there's various ways that you can actually attach your papers to your books. So as I say, you can either staple them, or you can actually make a little hole and thread your twine through. So that's the route we're going to go down. We're going to go down the route of actually putting the twine through and adding a little tag. So to keep your pages, so the centre of your book, I just use a bulldog clip to keep them in place, like so. There we go. And that will now keep them in place. And I'm just going to make 2 little holes along the edge, so you can just see the edge there, the mark where the paper's folded. And I'm going to get my crocodile and just make a hole. So I'm going to align it up so it is centre of that fold, like so, on both ends, just like so. That's it. So they're coming through there, and then I'm going to get my twine. If I can pull my twine off like that. Oh, there we go. Get my scissors, cut a piece off. And because you've kept your papers together using the bulldog clips, I'm going to thread that through there. We're going to thread that through there, like so. The papers and the holes will stay in the same place. And the way I fasten the papers, if I'm just doing a 2-hole, is I'll do a slip knot, which is over and under again, and then it'll just pull tight, like so. Take your bulldog clips off now, and then you've got your book. So what I'm going to do now is to get a little tag, just like on this one. So I'm going to just make a little tag as a fastener, and they're quite easy to do. I've just gone and stamped on some card the image that I want to use as the tag, and I'm going to cut that down like so. And I'm going to trim one to the size that I want it to be, just roughly like that, and the other one I'm going to leave quite large. And then this one I'm going to put underneath, and I'm going to put my 2 strands of twine in the centre, and I'm just going to run some glue over them like that. Okay, and then I'm going to take this image. Now the top needs to be relatively the same width from your image, and I'm just going to place that on the top and squash down like so, and then lift it up, and then I'm going to get a smaller bulldog clip and clip that there, and another bulldog clip, another small one, and cut it there. Okay, like so. Right, and we're just going to wait for that glue to set. So I'm just going to put you on pause just for 1 sec. Okay, so we'll just give it a minute or so just for that glue to settle. And now all we're going to do is just trim down the tag to the size of the smaller one, like so. Like so. Trim off the edge there at an angle, and the same there at an angle, being careful not to cut your string. And then we're just going to distress around the edges, like so. on both sides. There we go. And there we've got our little mini tag on our little booklet. There we go. Hey presto. A small little mini notebook made out of small envelopes. So do hope you've enjoyed watching and having hopefully some inspiration to make some little books yourself. So this is going to be the first book. I have got another video coming out shortly with another style of mini book that you can use as ephemera. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you'll subscribe to my channel and check out my Etsy shop for all my ephemera and other bits and pieces that I sell in my Etsy shop, and also on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook as Crafted by Norma. Thanks again for watching and see you soon. Bye.